the only thing I got from it was, at some point, will I be able to throw John Cena into a live alligator?
Well, let me read this to you from the ESRB ratings website. Gives a little more information on the game, actually.
Oh, they do not actually say you can do it, right?
It says, ratings summary. This is an arcade. Actually, let me share my screen so everybody can see this, because this is actually pretty interesting.
It sucks. I'm looking at the trailer. It sucks that Becky Lynch looks so terrible, like in the game.
I was listening to Kind of Funny talk about it, and they go, why do they all look like little people?
They all look like what?
Little people. They all look squished, like they're short and stuff. Anyway, so the rating summary here states, this is an arcade-style fighting game, which players engage with wrestling matches using custom characters and WWE superstars. So we know there's going to be a creative superstar mode. Characters punch, kick, and throw each other during matches. Player can also attack opponents by using chairs, poles, alligators, exploding barrels, and falling cars.
Wow.
Wrestlers react to damage by crying out in pain and or writhing on the floor. Matches are depicted in a somewhat exaggerated cartoon style, highlighted by impact sounds, slow motion effects, and occasional explosions. In one sequence, listen to this one. In one sequence, wrestlers climb and are shocked by an electrified cage while grabbing bags of cash. They then go on to talk about why it's a teen rating, saying that some female wrestlers are wearing outfits that expose moderate amounts of cleavage and or buttocks. Characters can perform taunt actions that are somewhat suggestive, a la a hula-style circular dance.
Okay, I have many questions. Number one, and stay on the screen here for a minute, because I'm referencing this screen.
Okay, let me go back to it. All right,
thanks. Just with the ESRB. Now, for most games, even not WWE games, but do most games have to be kind of like broken down into like baby dummy? Like I have to like explain
like it is here?
Like you're yeah.
Kinda.
Is that like a thing? Because I love the way that they describe
let me
beating the shit out of people. It's weird, and it's weird that they're like.
Let me pull up another one just so we can.
Yeah, for sure. It's I don't know. It's weird, and just the way it's kind of like. The way it's written, it just feels like it's like, why would they have to explain it in that way? I don't know.
Also, the one thing that they haven't stated is the game will be PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and Google Stadia. Also, there will be in-game purchases. That does lead me to believe that there could be DSL. I mean, not DSL, DLC.
So here's what I like about this, and the only thing I can think this might work well is that if the game looks about as shitty and generic as it does right now, that means the Switch is actually going to be able to maybe run it and do.
The game will run fine on Switch because NBA 2K Playgrounds runs perfectly fine on the Switch.
Yeah,
and it's the same company doing this game.
I wouldn't be angry if this didn't come out and they just didn't put out a game. You don't like. I don't know.
I feel like for them to have for them to have something means that they've been working on this for a while already, though. Because Saber Interactive hasn't been working on anything, and 2K is not just going to let them sit and not do anything. So I feel like they've been working on this game for a little bit. So even if they would have done a 2K21, I think this game would have still came out.
Yeah, I think this is also a more friendly version of a wrestling game.
I mean, what would be ideal, I think would be cool, is you alternate every year. You give the visual concepts people 2 years, or a year, every other year for a game, so they can actually make those games really good, and then you can have these Battlegrounds games come out every other year. You alternate, so that way you can give them more time. Because here's the issue, like with Madden and FIFA and all those games. Most of the times you get the new one, and there's nothing new to it. Like, I almost got MLB The Show 20, and my buddy was playing it. He was streaming it the other day, and I go, what's the difference between this one and 19 if I already have 19? He goes, you can make your own custom leagues online. Other than that, the game's the exact same. I was like, so I don't need to spend $60 and get the new one? He's like, no. He's like, I kind of regret buying it. And it's like, that's the issue with sports games. You have a new sports game come out every year when literally you can just, if you need to do something because there's changes to the athletes, just send a big update. Or do like NASCAR does. NASCAR games come out in October, right when their playoffs start. But then in February, when the new season starts, they put out I think it's $9.99 DLC pack that updates with all any drivers that change teams, any drivers that's got a new sponsor on their car. That's what they can do with the wrestling game. You have the game come out every other year, and once a year, maybe around Mania or something, you do like a $9.99 DLC pack that updates all the wrestlers, gives them new attires and stuff.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just don't think wrestling games are that fun anymore. I think the charm of a wrestling game is kind of disintegrated since they haven't been very good since what? 2013 was the
Right.
last good wrestling game. Everything else just kind of seems like it's chasing it. I mean, I'd rather just. I mean, for God's sakes, the other day I found my PS2 with SmackDown versus Raw 2009 with ECW, and I was like, I'd rather play this with the fucking like old game engines that actually look like goddamn for a PS2. Those games look phenomenal.
So
Like those games were great.
you're asking if other games are broken down baby style like this, and I pulled up PUBG.
But
And it basically says this is a multiplayer action game in which players can participate in last man standing style shootouts while collecting supplies, weapons, armor around an island. From a third-person perspective, players parachute onto an island and search for items, vehicles, and supplies that they must defend from other players. Characters can engage in fistfights and use weapons, examples, machine guns, rifles, to shoot and kill opponents. Successful hits are accompanied by brief splashes of blood. Characters fall to the ground when killed. As their items become available to other players, players can also use vehicles to run over opponents. So yeah, they break them all down baby style.